this is Drew Page. Welcome to the Drew Page channel. In this video, we are going to answer the question, can Elon Musk walk away from the Twitter deal and only have to pay the $1 billion fee? We're going to talk about this as the news broke this morning on CNBC, and we're going to talk about whether he can walk freely away from the contract to purchase or if it's going to cost him more. So I hope you found this video helpful. Obviously, you may end up in some contract negotiations at some point, so it's important to know your rights and remedies, responsibilities, and all of those things. So hopefully this will be helpful to you. If it is, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the notification bell. And with that said, let's jump right in. This morning, CNBC put an article out that says Elon Musk can't just walk away from his Twitter deal by paying a $1 billion breakup fee. And that, of course, caught my attention because I've done a video previously going through the actual purchase agreement, and we read through all of the pages of the agreement. We went over it in pretty good detail. Check out that video if you haven't seen it yet. Well, then I see this today, and we were talking about the $1 billion termination fee, and most of the talking heads on CNBC were also talking about the fact that it was $1 billion for him to walk away without any additional cost. So it was kind of weird to then see this article. So let's kind of walk through the article and see what they have to say about it. The article notes that Elon Musk tweeted Friday that he decided to put his acquisition of Twitter on hold as he researches whether the amount of fake spam accounts on Twitter is actually just 5%, as the company has long claimed. So essentially, he's doing due diligence. That is part of what happens when you enter into a purchase agreement. Before the closing date, you do due diligence. And if a party has represented something that is not true, then that can serve as a basis for terminating the agreement. In fact, the agreement that he entered with Twitter says that if there is a defect, and if it's not cured within a certain period of time, that the agreement can be terminated, and that the company, which is Twitter, will be responsible for paying the $1 billion termination fee. So in this instance, this is something that is part of the due diligence process. So at this point, it would seem like the $1 billion is what's in play. So let's keep reading the article. He did note in the article that he is still committed to the acquisition and still plans to close it, which again, that's consistent with someone who's doing due diligence. But here's the interesting part. It then says he risks a lawsuit from Twitter for breach of contract that could cost the world's wealthiest person many billions of dollars. And that caught my attention. I'm like, what about this $1 billion fee? It says Musk and Twitter agreed to a so-called reverse termination fee of $1 billion when the two sides reached a deal last month. Still, the breakup fee isn't an option payment that allows Musk to bail without consequences. Okay. A reverse breakup fee paid from a buyer to a target applies when there is an outside reason a deal can't close, such as regulatory intermediation or third-party financing concerns. A buyer can also walk if there's fraud, assuming the discovery of incorrect information is a so-called, quote, material adverse effect. Okay, no problem with that. A market dip, like the current sell-off that has caused Twitter to lose more than $9 billion in market cap, wouldn't count as a valid reason for Musk to cut loose, breakup fee or no breakup fee, according to a senior M&A lawyer familiar with this matter. I'd be very interested to know who this lawyer is, this unnamed lawyer that's in M&A, in case you don't know what that is mergers and acquisitions. So there's this lawyer that's saying that, well, he can't just walk away, just because the Twitter prices drop. Well, okay, that's great. That's not what's being claimed here. What's claimed is that Elon Musk has found a discrepancy, or wants to make sure of a potential discrepancy, that less than 5% of the accounts on Twitter are spam. There's nothing here that says that this is an issue regarding Twitter losing stock value. And so this is just an attention-grabbing news story, and that's all there is to it. But I did go back and look at the agreement. So the first thing that you want to know is that breaches are initially defined by the contract itself. What constitutes a breach are terms that are generally set in the contract, and it's no different here. But the general rule under this agreement, because they have the termination fee agreement, is that if it is a termination for anything other than a knowing or intentional breach, which would essentially be what this lawyer person is talking about, is that somebody just says, I know I made a deal, but we're not going to do it. I don't have any reason for it. You know, there's no good faith reason for it. There's nothing in the agreement that calls for me to be able to make these adjustments. Nothing relating to financing, nothing relating to due diligence, nothing related to that at all. He's just walking away because he doesn't think it's a good financial deal now. Okay, yeah, that's a knowing and intentional breach. But if something has been brought to the other side's attention that needs to be remedied, or if financing can't be acquired, then that's going to be that $1 billion termination fee issue potentially for one side or the other. So for the story that this article has is just garbage. It's just attention grabbing. That's not what's come into play here. There's no way they can prove that. There's no evidence whatsoever. I don't understand why they asked this unnamed lawyer that. They could have looked this up on Google, just to be honest. I mean, anybody could have done that. That's probably why the attorney didn't want their name put on there, because that's just common sense. I mean, obviously, if he just walked away and that was it, that would be a breach of contract. And then you've got expectation damages, you've got costs, attorney's fees as set by the agreement. So that's different than what Elon Musk is saying. Elon Musk is saying, look, we've done due diligence. This is what they've represented. I'm not sure that that's actually factual, and I want some assurances that that's the case. There's nothing wrong with requesting further assurances if that is something that they had previously represented. So, again, that's not an issue. Now, later in the article, it indicates that this may be just a negotiation tool. Later on, it says, Musk's reasoning for putting a transaction on hold may be similar. He might want Twitter to lower its sale price because it had fallen and all that, and everybody's aware of that. Someone says this is probably a negotiation tactic on behalf of Elon. The market has come down a lot. He's probably using the guise of true active users as a negotiation ploy. Well, that may be true, but unless they can prove it's a knowing and intentional breach, then it's going to be the $1 billion termination fee. So again, this article isn't really all that helpful. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the notification bell. Until next time, stay tuned.